A Malawi Economic Monitor publication by the World Bank has said Malawi has the potential to do well, but the country needs to restore macroeconomic stability by reducing expenditure, domestic borrowing and reforming key subsidy programs to achieve this. The Monitor, the first publication of its kind by the World Bank, was launched in Lilongwe.
We think Malawi has enormous potential, but the immediate challenge over the next year is to stabilize the macroeconomic situation and lay the ground for recovery. In that, we think the big challenge is fiscal stabilization, and that means reducing the gap between what government receives in revenues and what government spends. And at the moment, that gap has been addressing that gap has been a big challenge, and it's one of the reasons why inflation has been high. And of course, when inflation is high, that discourages investment, new job creation, and it reduces the purchasing power of Malawians, particularly the poor. So the challenge as we see it is for government to progressively try to reduce the budget deficit and that gap, and hopefully try to borrow less, and that will contribute towards bringing inflation down to a lower level. The challenge now is that the government has enormous spending priorities and trying to fit those priorities within the available resource envelope. So in the report we present some suggestions from our side for government to consider in how they can manage those priorities. And that's from a range of things, trying to reduce the cost of domestic borrowing, which is very high, trying to reduce the amount that's spent on debt interest, and looking at ways in expenditure programs where government can still achieve its objectives but at lower cost.
And Director of Debt and Aid Management in the Ministry of Finance welcomed the report and said government has already taken steps to reduce domestic borrowing, as seen by the passing in Parliament of a bill on Reserve Bank of Malawi on Tuesday.
And as the Minister of Finance, we welcome this report. As you know, we always believe that the private sector is the engine of growth. So we welcome the report. Having said that, we are saying that the recommendations that have been made in this report are going to inform government in terms of future policy formulations. Domestic borrowing at the moment, I think, is quite high. It is something which I think has been there for quite some time, but government now, I think, has put in place measures to make sure that domestic borrowing is significantly reduced. You will recall that just recently Parliament approved a bill which was aimed at revising the Reserve Bank Act, which limits the borrowing by the central government from the central bank to about 10% of the total revenues. So it is the intention of government to make sure that what has been contained in this new Reserve Bank Act is implemented to the full, because we are also aware as government that if we do more borrowing from the central bank, that is not good for the economy, because it ends up pushing inflation to be very high.